out there. This is Joann and Jim. We are with Senior Solutions, the Council on Aging for Southeastern Vermont, and we have a series of interviews and programs that are of interest to the people we serve who are 60 and better, meaning 60 and older, who are disabled. And we're happy to bring to you today a program about our volunteers, and in particular about the Memory Cafe that takes place down in Brattleboro. So let's get started. And Jim?
Well, I'm happy to be here too, and would like to know a little bit. I've been working at outreach 2 years ago at Senior Solutions part-time, and so I finally ended up being fully retired after being 54 years in education and still alive. That's amazing. All right, but let me ask, why don't we like to have people introduce themselves rather than us introducing you folks. I don't know if we know that much about your backgrounds, but we would certainly like to start with Victoria as far as you're part of Senior Solutions now. What's your background, and what is your major function at Senior Solutions?
Yes, yeah. So I'm the volunteer manager for Senior Solutions. I oversee multiple programs under that umbrella, including our Vet to Vet program, our Errands program, our Friendly Visitor program, our Senior Companion program.
Wow.
Telephone reassurance, and our brand new AmeriCorps Public Health Respite Grant. My background before I came to Senior Solutions, I lived out in Utah, and I was the director of a Senior Companion program out there for 3 years. But I've been a gerontologist or in senior work for the last 13 years.
That's really great. You bring a lot of experience to the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. We're lucky to have you. We really are. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Suzanne, can we get you to introduce yourself? I understand that you're pretty important down there in the Brattleboro Memory Cafe.
Yeah, my name is Suzanne Colvin, and I helped work with Gary with the Senior Solutions to get the idea going. I felt there was a need for it in this area, and participate in it. And I'm retired.
Oh, good. That means you have lots of time to help. See, and lots of time to work for free.
See, everybody thinks that, but it's not true.
I know.
That's right. That's right. Well, we're really excited to have both of you here today, and we're going to ask you a few questions, but basically we would like you to tell us things that you think are important for the public to know about not only our volunteer programs, but also particularly the Memory Cafe program. And what inspired you to become part of that?
Well, to begin with, a little background on myself. I went in 2018, I went to the memory clinic in Bennington, and I was diagnosed with MCI, which stands for mild cognitive impairment.
Mm-hmm.
And up till 2021, I stayed that way. And then I was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. Okay. And I've been pretty active with the Alzheimer's Association. I do the Walk for Alzheimer's. Every year I raise money for them. I talk to people that I meet along the way to kind of educate them about the disease, because there's so many myths about them.
Great. Wait, what are you not doing? My goodness.
Right.
That's good. You're like a one-woman organization. That's fantastic. You know, when you found out about your diagnosis, how did you feel? How did that impact you?
Um, when I found out, actually, believe it or not, I was relieved
Mm,
because I couldn't understand what was going on because I was not remembering short-term things. I was leaving. What brought me to go to the memory clinic, I had a lot of stickies everywhere to remind myself about everything. And I know in my family, my mother, her brother, and her sister all had Alzheimer's.
mm,
So that kind of worried me. And I thought, well, let's be proactive, go to the memory clinic and see what's going on. So once I found out, it was like a relief because I thought, what is going on with me?
Yeah, I bet.
And then once that sinks in, you go through kind of a grieving period where you feel like, oh no. And then you say, which I have gone through different phases, that life doesn't stop here. That, which is a myth to a lot of people. When you're diagnosed, they feel, oh, tomorrow you're going to be in a nursing home. They don't understand that's over years. And they have really misconceptions about that you're going crazy. You know, they have, it's so
Yeah.
much with the senility and all that that's still out there.
Yeah.
And so I've really done a lot of talking to a lot of people. People have come up to me and said, my aunt, my uncle, my brother, and my sister has Alzheimer's. And I talk to them about and see what their feelings are and correct things if they're not really right, what they're saying.
I bet that's a huge help to those people.
Yes, they feel good because they feel like they can talk to somebody that's in the same situation.
Right, right. I think it's a courageous thing for you to do, to explain, what you've gone through, and it isn't the end of the world, and we're going to make the best of our situation. I just admire that.
Yeah, I have a slogan that I say, I have Alzheimer's, but Alzheimer's doesn't have me.
I love it.
That's a good
Very
one.
good. Very
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Now you're participating at the American Legion Post 5 in Brattleboro.
Yeah.
And how do you find that place? How do you enjoy going there?
I enjoy going there. I'm finding there is more caregivers than people that are diagnosed with it.
Hmm.
And I wish there was more like that can still go through the meetings and discuss things such as so we'd have more people that are just beginning the stage. And I'm finding, I listen to the caregivers and what they're going through, and I find out some of them are really are still going by the myths themselves.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, I'm
I really-
hoping with your conversation today with all of us, I'm hoping that it will inspire people who may be facing similar diagnoses to realize not only that their lives are not over, but
Mhm.
also to know that there is a safe, secure, happy place where they
Yes.
can meet with others.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's a great thing. I was so glad when it first started. And I was told the other day that the Alzheimer's Association from Bennington is going to be coming and doing a special thing there, seminar for people to come. So that's great.
Great. Oh, that will be a good, is that discussion about, I saw the poster, I think, but that's okay. I won't ask you about it.
Yeah,
We'll-
it's in
we'll-
December.
December, yes, absolutely. That will be important. I'll make sure I put it on the radio, on Wool Radio, and I'll
Yeah.
make sure I put it in my column, and we'll do some press
Great.
releases as well.
Yeah. And
But-
I'm putting one of the posters up in my area so people will see it.
Great.
That's very helpful, I think. And, the thing is, I don't know about you guys, and Victoria, you probably experienced it in Utah, face to face, person to person, discussions and communication is usually the most effective. So
Yes.
hopefully people watching your face and, all of us will know that, we're real people with real concerns and we really want to help.
Mhm.
So, hopefully they'll know they don't have to be afraid. They can call our helpline, the senior solution, which I'll say what it is right now. Right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. That's 802-885-2669. That's the direct line to our helpline. You may have a busy signal only because right now is open enrollment for Medicare, but don't give up. Give us a call and we'll give you information. Victoria,
Right.
what would you like to add?
Well, I just really want to, first of all, thank Suzanne for being here because my background specifically is in Alzheimer's and dementia. And even more specific to that, the social impacts of a diagnosis of Alzheimer's and dementia on the individual, after they get the diagnosis. So when I met Suzanne, she is literally everything I stand for when it comes towards how people are treated once they get the diagnosis, the social connections they lose, it's time to put grandma on the couch, she has Alzheimer's, life is over sort of mentality. And then Suzanne is like this superwoman that's just like, no, I don't accept that at all. I have a complete life to still live. This is just one part of my life. So I'm really happy that you're here and we're able to discuss this because it's not discussed enough. There's still so much like hush hush around Alzheimer's. There's even statistics that show that only about half of people are actually told they have the diagnosis from their doctor. Even doctors a lot of times will be like, oh, well, I'm going to give you medication to help your memory, or they'll kind of skirt around the issue and they won't use the big A word. And Suzanne actually told me she had a similar experience when she went to the memory clinic. The first person didn't use the word Alzheimer's, right? And it was the second.
Correct.
Yeah, and it was the second. So she asked for another person to come in, and they came in and told her and explained it to her. So I just really want to thank you for being here because I think you're a rock star.
Thank you for having me.
And I agree. I would love to have more people at the Memory Cafe that are like Suzanne, who could use that additional support from peers, because peer-to-peer does work best. You understand each other at a level that I can academically understand what you're going through and just as a human, but I don't know what it's like to have dementia. And so I think that would be a great way to grow the memory cafes.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now we have the one in Brattleboro. We are hoping, we had one in Springfield, but it had such low attendance. We've suspended it for now. But I'm hoping through maybe avenues like this and just more, getting the word out there that we can reopen the one in Springfield. And we also had one in White River Junction that had such low attendance, we shut down. And so I would like to get one up in that area, Windsor, White River Junction, but more north. We need more people to attend, more people like Suzanne, more caregivers. Memory cafes, for the people that don't know, are basically social support groups. So caregivers or individuals like Suzanne who maybe have who are earlier to maybe moderate stages can come, and usually the caregiver will bring their person with them, and they will sit together, the recipients, and music will be playing, and they'll have a little lunch and maybe like a little craft activity or something like that. And then the caregivers will sit together, and Suzanne's been sitting with them, because often the recipients that sit together are more moderate and severe with Alzheimer's. So it wouldn't be appropriate really for Suzanne to be sitting with them. You know, some of them are at the point where they're nonverbal or just much more advanced.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so, and so it's a time for the caregivers, or if there was more people like Suzanne to be there for them, but the caregivers sit and they're able to talk about the things that are still stigmatized or that they're afraid to say to other people. 'Cause maybe they're embarrassed about, I shouldn't feel this stressed about taking care of my wife. Like, am I a bad person? Or, you know, the little things that kind of just happen in their day to day that other people may not be able to relate to. You know, how many of us have to worry that our spouse is going to wander out of the house and get lost? So being able to have those conversations with each other is the purpose of the caregiver table. And Suzanne brings this really interesting perspective. I love when she pipes up and offers her perspective on someone with Alzheimer's who is still completely communicates very well and very educated and very thorough. You know, there was a conversation one time they were having about not knowing if their person still loves them, can feel love. And Suzanne piped in there and was like, let me just tell you that they do. They might not be able to tell you, but they do. They do still feel that love and support coming from you. And I think it probably helps some of them to just hear, you know, that that's still there. So that's the memory cafes. Yeah.
Victoria, if somebody is interested, either like Suzanne, who would like to come on their own and attend, or perhaps a caregiver that has a loved one that they would love to bring to this memory cafe, how do they get in touch with you? Is it just through our helpline?
They can use the helpline or they can email me and I can, it's V as in Victoria, Alleman, ALLEMAN at Senior Solutions, and that's plural, VT as in Vermont.org. So V Alleman at Senior Solutions, VT.org.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's very helpful because so many of us, especially in Vermont, where people rarely, those of us who are older, rarely reach out for help. And so many caregivers are just working, you know, around the clock, 24/7. And if they know that there are places where not only they can meet for support, but that their loved one can be in a non-judgmental setting where they're actually welcomed and they're safe and they can relax.
Yeah.
You know, I think that the tension that a lot of caregivers must endure, and in fact do endure, has a very debilitating effect on everyone. And I would encourage people to find out, you know, yes, you can bring your loved one to this. Absolutely, that's what it's built for. These cafes are, it's like, you know, would you not bring your husband or wife or child or grandmother to a cafe on, you know, at a coffee shop?
Yeah.
Well, this is even better because you don't have to pay for it, number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number two, you're with people who are living your life along with you. That's just my perspective, but I am so excited at the prospect of having more and more people participating in these kinds of activities.
Yeah. You know, and another group that I would love to see more represented at this group is people. Right now, I only have one individual that comes who unfortunately had to place their person in a facility. And so her struggles, now look a little bit different than they did before. And I would encourage people, even if that's the position you're now in, to come and participate as well. Because just because you've placed them doesn't mean that the relationship has stopped. There's different reasons why that happens. It's usually safety reasons, but that doesn't mean that they're not still your spouse or parent or whatever the relationship is. So I would encourage people. I would love to see more people that have the illness who would like to have that support. I would like to see more people who have had to place their loved ones and are looking for support. And then, of course, always want to encourage caregivers to come and join us.
Well, I think you folks have done an amazing job just explaining the whole process and the impact that it has had, the positive impact that it has had on everybody. So the goal is to get more people involved. We'll help to get the word out the best we can at Senior Solutions.
I probably won't be as good at putting up the posters as Suzanne, but I'll try.
Yes. Yes.
Now, Vicki, about the volunteer program as well, how many volunteers do you have right now at Senior Solutions?
About 70, but we are just getting ready to launch this new AmeriCorps grant, which is for respite care, for caregivers. So we are looking for members for that and caregivers that would appreciate some free respite care. It would be weekly, the same person every week for probably 3 to 4 hours, so that you can have an actual break. So that program, when it's all said and done, should have 20. We only have 3 right now in that program, but it's meant to have 20. But overall, we have about 70 volunteers.
That's great.
It is amazing. I know when I was doing surveys on case managers 3 years ago, Carol wanted me to do some of that. And so I talked to a lot of people that we had services with at Senior Solutions just as a case manager, and talked to them about the positive impact that our volunteers have had on some of the people that are being served also by a case manager, but also a volunteer stops at the house, or they meet for coffee, or the impact that had, the positive impact was amazing. Not only just on a participant through case manager, but for the volunteer themselves. The feeling that they have in that process is really quite rewarding.
Yeah. So anybody out there that has, a little bit of time, if you like to help people, if you're friendly, call the helpline and do an intake and let them know that you'd like to volunteer. We'll find the right slot for you.
All right. Yes.
Yeah. There's a huge variety of things that people can do.
That's right.
Yeah. So even if you're not comfortable still because of COVID getting out, we have telephone reassurance. If you're low income and you can use a little extra money, we have the AmeriCorps pays a stipend, and so does the Senior Companion Program pays a little stipend. I mean, if you're just looking to get out of the house, we have errands and friendly visitor. If you're a vet, we have a vet program. So
Right.
Yeah, there really is a little bit for everybody.
Wait a minute. I see Suzanne smiling. Suzanne, I'm telling you right now, you're already busy.
We have your number, Suzanne.
Well, if you want to help with anything, just let me know, Suzanne. You always need help.
This has been such a joyful conversation.
Mhm.
I really appreciate it, and I want to thank both of you so much for being open and sharing. I think, this has to help a lot of people, seriously. You
Mhm.
might think, well, I'm just telling people my story, but those stories are so meaningful.
There.
Unbelievable. And I'll tell you one thing, if it's okay with you, Suzanne, when we get the edited version of this, I'm going to send it to every one of our legislators.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that this is a conversation that they need to hear about, and that they need to have more often. So
Yes.
thank you. I think what you're doing is fabulous. And
Thank
I
you
guess
for
I'm going to
having
see you
me.
at the holiday luncheon.
You will. Thank you for having me.
So great. Anybody want to say anything else before we wrap it up? We're okay?
I think it's been a great opportunity
Yeah.
for our people out there, our audience, to hear actually what is really going on, rather than hearsay from somebody else or what have you. So I think everybody's done a tremendous job.
Right. This is real information, not something fake on Twitter. Okay. Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you,
Thank you.
Victoria,
Yeah,
and thank
Oh,
you,
thank
Jim.
you.
well, you're welcome. Thank
It's
you.
nice to work together.
We'll see
again.
you again, probably, huh?
I hope so. Yeah. All right, gang. Thanks, and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Have a great
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.